Hello, this is Steve from Corporate Gone Country. I'm an ex-corporate guy just trying to do country things. And the country things that we're doing today is we're back out on the shooting range and we're going to do a little bit of maintenance. Now this is the target hanging end of the range at 100 yards from the shooting station. And the way we hang our targets here is we simply have some cable strung between two angle irons in this log frame that I salvaged from back of the house. We just use these binder clips, just like this here, to clip the paper onto the cable, and we can clip it in all four corners and it holds it nice and tight, and we can even slide it back and forth along the cable. I also had to put a flat bar of steel right here. I just used some metal screws to screw it into the angle iron that's behind it, because people were shooting holes in the angle iron, and I thought I could get at least a little bit more protection if I put a piece of flat bar right here. I do have one cable here that's broken and I need to repair it. Somebody probably shot through that, just lucky I guess. And so we'll string a new cable through that turnbuckle over there, and we'll make a new loop on this side so we can hang a target at this elevation down here or at this elevation up here. So I have some 1/8" cable left over from a handrail project that I did at another place. And it's always a challenge to cut this cable. There's a number of tools that you might be able to use. This one I found has been the best. They're not classic wire cutters like you would typically use, but I bought these at Home Depot and they're good for cutting cable. You would think that wire cutters like these are just classic wire cutters. This is an old rusty pair, but they're not very good for cutting this cable. They fray the ends. The other ones that I just showed you do a much better job. And then I found these bolt cutters in the shed, and I'm not sure whether or not they're going to be good for cutting cable, so I just want to try them and see what happens. Okay, we'll try cutting the old cable with the bolt cutters. Let's see how they work. Pretty good. They went through that very easy and made a nice clean cut. I just found these in the shed and thought they might be worth testing. Now for holding the cables in place, we use these ferrules, and we slide those over the wire, and then we use this swaging tool to go ahead and clamp them down. And I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole right here about 1 inch down from the previous hole, and another one on the other end as well to install the new cable. But we got a nice hole there. We'll go ahead and deburr the back side, and then we'll see if our turnbuckle fits. A responsible thing to do once you cut through metal is to come around the back side and deburr the hole. There's a burr that you got from punching the drill bit through the metal, and if you run your finger over it, it might cut you. So all you need to do is take a slightly larger drill bit than your hole and just go ahead and turn it with your hands 3 or 4 rotations, and that should deburr that hole. So we got a couple of ferrules here that I got from Home Depot. They're 1/8 inch that goes with that 1/8 inch cable that we're going to use here. So we'll unbox these, and then we'll string the cable through it and swage it with the swaging tool. Now this cable and ferrule system that I'm using is probably overkill. I could have just taken some baling wire and run it from this hole to that hole and called it good, but I had these materials left over from another project, so I went ahead and decided to use them. Put our cable through the ferrule, then we run the cable through the hole. We get a little bit of slack. We bring that ferrule around and run this end of the cable through the other end of the hole to create a loop. And then we run that up there like that. We can cut off this extra, but now we're ready to get the swaging tool and lock that down. Okay, I've got it on the 3/16 setting. I'm old and weak, but let's see if I can do it. Got it. Okay, it's nice and ready to go, and like I say, we'll trim that. So I'm on the other end now, and I've run my turnbuckle all the way out to give me maximum adjustment. Then what I'll do is I'll just take these standard wire cutters And I'll pull this as tight as I can. And that should do it. Now I'm in a position where I can take my swaging tool and lock that one down and then tighten it up with the turnbuckle. So there's the finished product. I only needed about 5 or 6 rotations of the turnbuckle to make the cable nice and tight. And now we have a target at a higher elevation and the low elevation. And we've got that new cable strung, so it works out pretty well with the binder clips. I previously made a video on the design, layout, and construction of this range. I hope you had a chance to watch it.